Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of F1 2020 My Team. Today we're back and returning with the Austrian Grand Prix, of course a very, very popular circuit by many F1 fans nowadays. So that's going to be an interesting one. If you haven't seen the previous one, please make sure to do so. There will be a link in the top right hand corner, you can click on that. So that was the French Grand Prix, in case you're wondering. And we seemed to do pretty well. Qualifying wasn't the best, but we did recover to a pretty decent result. Anyway, as you can see in the top right, we leveled up to level 10 of the team acclaim, and that means we can sign another secondary sponsor, as you can see. So we're going to do that, and well, the one that the contract expired just then was, I think it was Pay Night, and so we're going to look for sponsors that we can use to replace that or to just go alongside that. So one of them that I've chosen, Monae Paris, or how you pronounce that. It's basically to score more points than the car that is just ahead of you in terms of performance. So I think that's going to be a good goal to try. The goal bonus isn't. The goal bonus is pretty big. The weekly income isn't, but still a good one to go for. And we decided to renew our contract with Pay Night. So yeah, that's how we did it. I put those on the car. Didn't actually get to record it, but there you go. But as for R&D, we've got 1126 resource points to spend. We're doing that on the weight distribution, which will come in time for the Hungarian Grand Prix. That's going to be very, very useful, because in Hungary you need a good distributed car. So that's what we're going to go for. It's going to take up all of our resource points, so nothing more about to happen otherwise. So we're going to fast forward time. Actually, for the activities, we're just going to do the reaction training, because why not? But anyway, now let's fast forward. Going to the Austrian Grand Prix, and here we are then. We are going to the Red Bull Ring, of course, in Austria, and now into the weekend we go. We've got I don't know. I'm not trying to think, but anyway, so there's not going to be any issues with weather. It's just going to be completely dry the whole weekend, make things a little bit more boring. But if it's too heavy rain, then can't do a Grand Prix, as we saw in the Belgian Grand Prix a couple of days ago. Was it a couple of days? No, at the time I'm recording this, that was done yesterday. So there you go. Anyway, there's no such issue in the game anyway, so yeah. Anyway, moving on, we're going to apply the old power unit components for practice, of course, because practice is not as important. And by the way, watch the wear, the percentage for the wear of the control electronics, because I can tell you that something very unusual happened to them as we ended this weekend. You probably already know, but yeah. There you go, practice is done. We got a decent amount of resource points, and now we're going to head into qualifying, the proper part of the weekend, where we can see where we can put ourselves on the grid for this Grand Prix. As you can see, we're currently 4th in the drivers and 5th in the constructors, so we're going really, really strong at the moment. We're hoping to continue that form going into the rest of this season and into this Grand Prix. But anyway, we've got to put in the new engine components as well, because of course Austria is a short track with quite a lot of straights, so there's 3 DRS zones, all of which you need to take advantage of with these new engine components. So let's head into qualifying. And by the way, in terms of the AI, I'm actually going to turn up the difficulty from 109 to 110, and some of you have been saying I'm a bit OP throughout this season, so that will hopefully reduce that as we switch it up to the max. So here we are then in the car for the qualifying in Austria. Once again, I'm going to say this again, that we are running the softer compounds for tyres because there's no way we're going to make it into Q2 or 3. Basically, we're not going to get through any qualifying sessions on the mediums anyway, and running these softer compounds won't really impact our race strategy or anything like that, despite having one less hards and one less mediums. But yeah, 4 sets of softs for qualifying is always ideal, especially if you're in a car that is not as fast as what it could be compared to the others, basically, who could go through any session on mediums, basically. Anyway, I'm waffling. Qualifying 1 is done. We got through 13th place, and our teammate has been knocked out once again, but by a very, very small margin. Only, I don't know, a few thousandths of a second, something like that. But as you can see, he lost out to Pierre Gasly in 16th. As you can see, I'm actually seeing with the sector times and seeing where he actually lost out. And I can tell you that he lost basically all of the time in sector 2. So that's something that he'll have to make up for in the race. But also, going into qualifying 2, we are going to have to make up for the lost time of a fuel system fault repair. So that's not ideal, but hopefully we can get the most out of that one run that we're going to get to do. And see, yeah, basically just going to have to fully send it on that one lap that we'll have time for. But anyway, let's skip this repair time and see what happens. And I can tell you that, yeah, we got through by half a tenth, so it wasn't comfortable at all, but we did manage to do so. As you can see, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton both getting through on the mediums, and also watch their lap times, because something very odd happened to the track through these qualifying sessions. So let's say look at our rival Carlos Sainz. He did a lap time of a 1:02.5, and the fastest lap time by Bottas was a 1 minute 0.8. So watch those lap times for qualifying 3, because yeah, something that doesn't usually happen to tracks actually did for this final qualifying. But anyway, let's get into my lap in Q3. Taking through turn 1, I was a bit safe with the curbs. I could have taken a bit more on either side, using more of that sausage curb on the exit as well. But anyway, into turn 3, that is, went a little bit deep, braking a little bit too late, and may have overshot the corner a little bit. But heading into turn 4, once again braking a little bit too deep and going a bit wide, compromising our exit once again. But of course we used that entry curb quite nicely. Heading into turn 6, that is, 5th gear, bit of understeer, rerun quite wide, can't speak. And through turn 8, that's pretty decent, it's alright, nothing special. Now through the final 2 corners, turn 9 looked pretty stable, turn 10 going a bit wide, but overall nothing extraordinary, only just under a tenth quicker than our previous lap, but it did raise us up to P6 in
come in at the end of this lap.
P6 in the current standings, and Of course, Vettel just beat us right there as he drives past us. But yeah, so that's how that stood at that time. Now it's P7 for us. Our lap time in Q2, I can tell you, was a 1:03.1 as well. So we managed to keep our lap time pretty consistent, but it seems like AI didn't. As you can see, Carlos Sainz over a second slower in Q3 than he was in Q2. Like I said, he did a 1:02.5 in Q2, and the fastest time was a 1:0.8, and Bottas is now 1.4 seconds slower. So yeah, not something we see often, because of course the track usually gets faster, not slower. Yeah, not sure what exactly happened there, but we managed to keep ourselves pretty consistent anyway. As you can see, I'm comparing my sector times to Sainz, our rival, and can't remember where he lost out. I think he also lost out pretty much all in sector 2, so that's basically like the medium low speed section pretty much. So yeah, that's qualifying done. That's not me rage quitting, because I wouldn't rage about being in P6. That's actually a really good result. No, not P6, P7. But yeah, that's a decent qualifying session for us. We're going to start
successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
We're going to start 7th on the grid. I think that was also quite a successful qualifying, considering that we're on maximum AI as well. But Austria is always quite a strong track for. I'm not sure if I can say strong track for the player. It's definitely a strong track for me, is all I'm going to say. But yeah, I'm not kidding you. It's on 110 AI, so yeah, nothing suspicious right there. So let's head into the race and see what we can do in this 36 lap race around Red Bull Ring.
Welcome to the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Vettel, Holmes, Norris, Albon, and Carlos Sainz. Stroll, Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, and Gasly, Magnussen, Kvyat, Nobuharu Matsushita, and Roman Grosjean. Raikkonen, Russell, Giovinazzi, and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Let's aim to do that. Here we are then, on the grid for Austrian Grand Prix. The strategy that the game suggests is soft to hard, but as you can see, I'm trying to change it to a soft to medium. Seems like it's actually not going to be viable, because mediums seem to wear out too quickly on the tyre wear that we have on this car at the moment. So soft hard it is not ideal, because hards are not the best around Austria, but it'll do if we have to make one less pit stop as a result. So there you go. As you can see, I'm adding quite a lot of extra fuel, 12.3 laps worth of it. This car, like I said, drinks fuel as if it's got a hole in its fuel tank, the size of my head. But anyway, let's go through the formation lap now. Starting 7th, ahead of Lando Norris and Alex Albon in the Red Bull and McLaren. And yeah, well, let's see what we can do off the start. It's always pretty chaotic into turn 1, so we'll see if that trend continues today. As you can see as well, my tyres are stone cold. I don't know why. The team need to think about tyre blankets instead of fridges. I think so. But anyway, by the way, I didn't purposely make that joke because I have an Xbox Series X. I don't. I have an Xbox One S, as you can probably see in the description. But anyway, let's head to the end of the formation lap. I think AI doing a burnout before we start the race to get as much temperature into the rear tyres as possible, which is important for traction, of course. But anyway, as you can see, directly behind us is Alex Albon, directly ahead of us Sergio Perez in the Force India Racing Point, whatever. Anyway, 5 red lights are on ahead of us, and it's lights out and away we go. First phase of start was absolutely awful, but second phase was pretty good. Verstappen gets an absolutely terrible start. As we try to go around the outside, we hit his rear tyre, and once again more contact with him as we exit turn 1. We've gained 2 positions up into P5, and the safety car, the full safety car is out. As you can see in the map, there's a bit of chaos behind us. Let's see what exactly happened. So here we are, on board Charles Leclerc. He's behind the 2 Mercedes and Verstappen. Verstappen gets pretty slow getaway as he bypasses him pretty easily. Perez gets a pretty good start as well. He locks up and he just runs into the back of Perez and spins round. By doing so, taps his rear tyre. Here's on board my teammate. There's an Alfa Romeo getting through pretty easily. Is that Sainz, I think, stuck there as well? He manages to get through as well. But there you go, Charles Leclerc with quite a lot of damage to his front wing, as you can see. But he's going to be helped by the safety car, so he will lose less time by pitting. But there you go, my teammate has also been affected by this incident, as he's now dropped to second to last. But anyway, we're now on lap 3 as we skip towards the end of the safety car. Verstappen getting a poor getaway, probably because he's on mediums. Yeah, that's definitely why. But 2 Mercedes, no problem at all. They're 1 and 2. Bottas leading the way. Of course, Hamilton also on mediums, so he probably had a poor getaway. But as you can see, pausing to check that I'm still recording. But anyway, Perez actually up to 3rd. He's had a great start, so that's good for him. But anyway, trying to get as much temperature in the tyres as possible before we get ready for the restart. And as you can see, we're closing up behind Verstappen, trying to get a good restart, but we don't really seem to be able to do that, as Verstappen has jumped us a little bit. We're being chased by Sebastian Vettel now, but we're safe into turn 1. And yep, we're all clear from Vettel at the moment, but he is gaining as we head into turn 3. He looks for the move around the outside. Does he make it work? Not quite as it seems, no. But that battle will probably continue for quite a while now. Is he going to try into turn 4? No, not quite. But as you can see, we're not exactly falling away from Verstappen, and maybe a little bit. But of course, you have to remember that he's on those slower medium tyres at the start of the race. There's a yellow flag behind us again. Not going to go into rich mix because, well, just did, but not for too long because this car burns fuel really quickly. But Daniel Ricciardo is out of the race, and the virtual safety car is out once more. There's a yellow flag for Ricciardo, who has an engine failure, as you can see, pulling off to the side in a safe spot. but now VSC is out, and we're going to have to slow down and follow the delta, which is well, thankfully the virtual safety car doesn't tend to last that long. And heading into turn 3, it's still not over. Yeah, this may take a while actually. There we go, virtual safety car ending now, and we can aim to get a good restart, which we didn't do in the previous restarts, but this time pretty decent one. I mean, we still lost some time to Verstappen. As you can see, he's already over a second ahead, but gap wasn't that big when we were starting this virtual safety car. Here comes Vettel down the inside, doesn't need to wait until the braking zone to get past us into turn 9, but he locks up going into turn 10, and we actually downshift by accident and almost lose the rear completely. But anyway, Albon is now attacking us. We're going to defend into turn 1. We do manage to keep him behind. We've got DRS from Vettel, so that will help us in our defence to that Red Bull. But now we're on lap 8. Vettel is pulling away a little bit, but we are still in his DRS, so that's always a good thing. I forgot to put it into rich mix, and now Albon flies past us with the help of DRS. We go for the dummy to the inside, switch to the outside, going a bit deep, but as you can see, we actually make that move work around the outside, getting better traction than the Red Bull, and now we are ahead of Alex Albon as we go around the outside. As you can see, just have simply more traction than that Aston Martin Red Bull car. But anyway, also Esteban Ocon might get into the mix soon, maybe not quite. Here comes Alex Albon down the inside of turn 4, and yeah, nothing we can do to defend a position. He touches the grass, which caught me out and made me do the same. But anyway, into turn 6, Esteban Ocon is also starting to close up. Like I said, he might get involved as well. And Lando Norris not too far behind as well. And now we're hoping to keep into Albon's DRS, which we just about managed to do. That would be crucial to help us defend, and as you can see, made our life a lot easier. We're going to get it for this next straight to turn 3 as well, which is absolutely great, but we get a terrible exit out of turn 1, and is Esteban Ocon going to try a move? We are going to go side by side down into the hairpin, and we brake that bit later, once again round the outside, getting better traction than that Renault, although as I say that, we don't get the best exit. However, is it enough to come out ahead as we head into turn 4? Yes, it is. Our goal is probably to try and stay in the DRS of Albon. This would definitely help us a lot to defend, but it's not happening, as you can see. Esteban Ocon, I don't know where he's gone. I think he's pitted. Yeah, he has. We're going to do the same as we head to the end of lap 12. We're taking that route that we have to take. Well, it's more realistic that we have to go within that white line as we head into the pit entry. As you can see, Sainz following me in. Vettel's gone to hards, and I think one of the Mercedes has done the same. As we pull into our pit box, 2.1 second stop, pretty good pit stop from our crew. It's actually gained us time to Sainz as well. The gap going into the pits was about, I don't know, about a second or two. Now it's grown to 3.2. So good job from the Auto ALF1 pit crew, as we are now on the tyres we're going to finish the race with. And Vettel, as you may have predicted, has pulled away quite big, so not going to be catching him any day soon, as Norris has gone on to the mediums, so he's going to try and stretch that compound to as big a stint as he can. But as you can see, initially the mediums are so much quicker. As he's going to try and move around the outside of turn 9, he's already passed going into the corner as we go wide, but we're going to get DRS on the straights, not really going to help us to overtake him, but maybe on the run down to turn 3 we can try and move as we prepare a good exit out of turn 1. And here we go then, using the slipstream of Lando Norris. Can we do the same move that we've done before, getting better traction out of turn 3? Yes, we do. We out-traction the McLaren massively, and he's already half a second behind, as we also take his DRS, which is fantastic. Anyway, we're now going to defend as hard as we can, really. We know that the McLaren is quicker than us, but we're going to do the best we can to keep him behind. But here he goes then, into turn 9 once again. Is he going to go for the same move? We're side by side as we head into turn 10. We do manage to keep our position ahead of Norris, and as we asked Jeff about our rival, somehow I didn't know that he was in 9th. I probably should have seen that. As we run wide through turn 1, is this going to give Norris the opportunity to get past? No, it doesn't. Not quite. I probably didn't really lose much time from that. But anyway, we're now heading towards the second half of the race. There's a yellow flag behind us on the run down to turn 3, I think that is.
Okay, clear.
Looks like a slow Alfa Romeo or Ferrari powered car. It's like a red dot. But yeah, nothing for us to worry about, to be honest. That's Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo. But yeah, nothing much for us to worry about, because of course we are not really racing them, but at least it gives a free position to our teammate. That's all I can take away from that. Didn't put out a safety car or BSC or whatever, so yeah, nothing really to worry about at all. As one thing that we do need to worry about is the McLaren of Lando Norris. As we head into turn 9, not quite close enough to make a move, but we run a little bit wide. Does this give Norris the opportunity? He actually went for a move there. Didn't seem... I don't think that move was really on. Let's see replay of it. I went wide. Norris went for the move. Didn't really... I mean, the rules are, if your car is more than halfway alongside yours, alongside your rivals, then you are entitled to be left space. But I mean, he was nowhere near halfway alongside, so didn't really think that he should have made that move anyway. But he did make the move into turn 3. As you can see, he's passed finally, as I accidentally paused the game instead of pressing my overtake button. But we're not going to be able to get him back into turn 9, turn 4, jeez. But anyway, now behind us, giving chase, is Carlos Sainz in the McLaren. Not only him, but also Charles Leclerc, who's also on the mediums, pretty close behind as well. So let's see what we can do. Carlos Sainz, here he goes around the outside of turn 3. Doesn't quite manage to get the move done. I probably should have taken the outside line there, to be honest. I should have... Yeah, the outside of turn 3 always gives you better traction, so that's something that I will need to remember, which I didn't back then when I was recording this. But anyway, here he goes then. He's going to try again. Once again, I'm defending the inside line, but we do manage to keep the position ahead of the McLaren. As you can see, Norris has walked away with 7th place, so he's not going to be anything that we can challenge for. So that basically means that 8th place is probably going to be the maximum for this race, unless Norris's tyres absolutely die, but that's not very likely. But anyway, as we have seen there, Carlos Sainz just basically ran into the back of me. Not sure what that was all about. He was nowhere near, like, it was nowhere near me going into the braking zone, so I'm not sure why he would want to run into the back of me like that. But anyway, thankfully no front wing damage. Yeah, that's very awkward. But yeah, anyway, he's going to go for the same move into turn 3 again. As you can see, we're fending him off pretty well at the moment. Going into the back end of this race now, we're on lap 28 at the moment. Norris doesn't seem to be pulling away from me, to be honest. He's still 1.9 ahead, which he was the previous few laps. So, you know, don't count him out. But anyway, we're now going into lap 29. So yeah, not many laps left in this race.
Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum.
So turbocharger is wearing out quite a lot apparently. If I'm honest, it's not the turbocharger that I'm worrying about. It's the control electronics, which is something that we need to watch out for. Like I said at the beginning of the video, something very strange happened to it. But anyway, as you can see there, Leclerc and Sainz battling for 9th place behind us. Sainz on the inside, Leclerc on the outside, and the Ferrari out-tractions that McLaren driver. That's a great camera angle, by the way. But here he goes then. Leclerc tries for a move around the outside of turn 9. He makes it stick, actually. As we now head round the final corner, we've got a bit of oversteer, perhaps tyre wear kicking in, but actually Verstappen is up ahead. He's pitting for a set of softs, perhaps because of damage. He's definitely going to try for the fastest lap, for sure, since he's got those softs on anyway. But this is a prime opportunity for us to try and actually get some sort of advantage from this. We're going to go round the outside. I didn't realise this at the time, but it was 3 wide at this moment here, and we're going to go 3 wide down this straight as well, give Leclerc a bit of a love tap. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But anyway, we're now going side by side with Verstappen, but Red Bull with those fresh softs with superior grip. So we're not going to be able to challenge that at all. But anyway, there you go then. We're back down to 8th, but you know, still points, still a pretty good result if we finish like this. But that squabbling has cost us some time to Norris, which not ideal, but like I said, probably not going to be challenging for that position anyway. So yeah, not really something that we need to worry about. But as you can see, 3 wide behind us of Leclerc, Sainz and Esteban Ocon, and Ocon comes out on top of all of that battling. And yeah, the Renault driver going round the outside of all of them. As you can see, here's a replay of it, and there you go, just trying to give space to each other, not really succeeding in doing so. But yeah, let's have a look at an onboard from Ocon. As you can see, not really much space at turn 1 for 3 cars side by side. As you can see, Sainz understeering a little bit, understeering into Ocon, and yeah, bit of a chain reaction there. But here comes Kevin Magnussen in the Haas, also trying to challenge for points, it seems. And Magnussen looks to be getting past some drivers. He's got past Sainz and into 10th place, into the points for the Haas driver. And all of this squabbling is allowing us to pull away. So continue on this, guys. Thanks. But anyway, there's the move from Kevin K-Mag, and there you go, up into the points is the Haas. But Sainz is not going to give this up, of course. He's still going to battle this. My replay camera has run out of time, and Sainz actually managed just to get him back anyway. So yeah, it's to be expected. But anyway, as you can see, Verstappen is pulling away quite a lot. You would expect that. He's got the fastest lap as well, and he's now overtaken Norris, who seems to be running out of tyres. We're catching up to him quite rapidly, and with only 1 lap left, can we actually get him? We're going to get DRS into turn 4, not this one here, the one after this. As we head into the braking zone, we're 8 tenths behind, and we're going to get this DRS advantage, but unfortunately Norris just a bit too far ahead for us to challenge him in the battle for 7th. But as you can see, Valtteri Bottas wins the race at a track which is tends to be very, very strong at. So great job from the Finn. Hamilton makes it 1-2, completes the podium positions. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. Completing the podium is, I think it was a Ferrari, and my recording has decided to run out exactly as I was just about to go to the last corner. So just about managed to record myself crossing the line. Bit awkward there, but Kevin Magnussen, driver of the day. Interesting stuff.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
So there you go then, Valtteri Bottas, winner of the Austrian Grand Prix. Vettel actually comes home to take third place and another podium for four-time world champion. And yeah, very, very good result for him in the Ferrari. His teammate a bit further down the order, battling with the likes of me. But anyway, yeah, bit of a disappointing race for Leclerc, but you know, that one incident cost him quite a lot, and to finish 13th is actually not too shabby, considering that he was basically last. And yeah, we dropped one position to Lando Norris, and
let's move on to the constructors.
Despite that, still a very good points finish for us in 8th, and we dropped to 5th in both drivers and constructors championships, but still, you have to say it's a very, very good weekend for us, and overall in the championship we're doing well as we're heading towards the halfway point of the season 1. So here we are then. Matsushita still not scoring points, although to be fair, he probably wouldn't have anyway, starting in 17th. Yeah, he only gained 2 positions because of the retirement, I guess, but yeah, that's a bit harsh. Anyway, yeah, as you can see, Verstappen with the 2-stop didn't help him at all. With, I think he must have got damaged shortly, but yeah, as you can see, Giovinazzi actually got a 5-second penalty somehow for colliding with Fiat, but yeah. Anyway, as you can see, there's the front wing change for Leclerc, but yeah, I don't know what happened to Verstappen. He definitely could have finished on the podium, but it is what it is for him. And yeah, that's the race. Nothing much more to say. Yeah, he did get damage. I was right. And that penalty that Giovinazzi got was actually well, it definitely gave Fiat damage because he had to pit for a new front wing. So there you go. That's the race done. Carlos Sainz finishing just behind us in 9th, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this or other stuff as well. There's Leclerc's spin right next to us pretty much, and yeah, just leaving you with the highlights as always. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time, where the next episode of F1 2020 My Team will be in, where would it be? British Grand Prix, that's what it is. Our home race, and so that's going to be the next one. And by the way, if you have made it this far to the end, please make sure to tell me that in the comments, and comment with the phrase Monet Paris. I don't know why, that's the first thing that came into my head. It's our new sponsor. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed and made it this far, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.